Hello everybody, Zad Drums back once more, this time with a drum set update. So things have finally changed on this. So when last I had posted, I had both toms on my bass drum here. Since then I've kind of switched over to just the single tom, and originally I had it with its mount in a very peculiar way. So let's actually go over a quick update. So this is not counting the snare, a 3-piece Pulse drum set, technically 4 if I count the tom over there with the tom mounts, but I prefer to say it's now become a 3-piece with then the steel pulse snare. Kind of done a few changes around. So let's start with the bass drum. It's a 22 with a beautiful Evans EMAD resonant head with a pillow of course in there, so it's not too overbearing. We're then going to swap over and go around to the all important stuff. So on this side I have an Evans hydraulic batter head. I use the hydraulics of course on my 16 floor and my 12 tom. So the thing about the hydraulics that you need to know is it's 2-ply, and then there's a thin layer of oil between those plies to help get a better tone out of them. So attached to my bass drum is a Ludwig 400 series bass pedal. I got that as part of the hardware pack that I got. So we'll then move along. So again, hydraulic. Underneath is the Evans Rezo heads, which is a new addition since the last time I had done the video. Originally was the crappy Pulse stuff that came with it, which I'm glad I got rid of those. It's so much better. So let's talk about my 12-inch real quick. So originally I had this, and so I had it set up like that, and then I actually then did it differently where I had reversed it to where the longer end was holding the tom and the short end was in the bass, so that way then I could get the reach I wanted. But I had decided I wanted to get a snare stand and then get another boom stand instead of the straight that I was using, because it's like, yeah, I don't need this freaking mount here to fail for me. So plus a lot of drummers use freaking stands for a singular tom. Helps also kind of dampen some of the overtone you'll get, so it's pretty cool. Let me see if I can't try and sneak under. Oh. So as I stated, kind of hard to see because of the reflection, but right there is the Evans Genera Rezo. So they're not just any normal Rezo, they're the Genera brand, which is pretty cool. And that is on a PDP 700 series snare stand, because I'm not going to pay the money for the Ludwig stuff at the time because money's a little tight. I had some money to kind of use to kind of help upgrade the kit just a hair more. So there's that. Before we go into hardware and cymbal specifics, let's talk about my snare. So 14-inch steel pulse snare. So originally I had an Evans Genera 1 head. Hated the overtones I was getting. I hated the snares as well. So the snares changed since last it's been seen. So right now I'm using an Evans Genera HD Dry. So what the dry means is that it has these puncture vent holes to help with overtone and get a more crack sound out of it. And what's also nice is around the ring is a 2mm floating control ring, so that's awesome. Let me quickly set this down so I can actually take the snare off its stand and flip it over for all to see. So here's where the magic really gets cool. So instead of the crappy Pulse snare side, I have an Evans Hazy 300 snare side. And then instead of the 20 strand that originally came with, I went with a 16 strand. And this is a Pure Sound 16 strand EQ. So what's cool about this is the EQ actually separates the 16 strands to 8 above, none in the center, and 8 below. And what this does is it superiorly helps with any and all of that snare buzz you'd get. I get some, but not as bad as I was getting with the 20, so that is so amazing. And of course the stand that's on is a Ludwig 400 series snare stand, which was part of the pack. So, real quick, I'm going to put my snare back right where it belongs. Hoba. Get it in. I'll retighten stuff beforehand. Come on. You will fit back where you belong. So, let's talk about my throne next. My throne is a PDP 700 series throne. Does the trick. It's comfortable, but definitely would rather go with a saddle and probably do like a rocking sock down the road. So let's talk about cymbals and hardware next. So over here on my Ludwig 400 series hi-hat stand is my Zildjian ZBT hi-hats 13s. So all my cymbals are used. The drum set was used, but everything else is new. So happy with that. Cymbals are pretty decent, though I would go to 14s and not 13s. I was thinking originally 13s would be kind of fun to use, get a different tone, but I think 14s I need a bit of a wider hi-hat. So now the new edition, I've already had the cymbal, but since the stand's the new edition, is a PDP 700 series boom straight stand, so it can be either or. I wanted to do a boom because originally I had a straight stand, but the problem with the straight stand is I could not really get my cymbal here in the position I'd want, so I would keep accidentally sometimes bapping into it if I'm on my hi-hat or if I was on my tom trying to ride that tom. Sometimes I accidentally bap the back end. So this is a Zildjian ZHT 15-inch fast crash used, but has decent tone to it that I'm happy with. Now we're gonna peer over here to the cooler stuff. So this is, of course, not what we wanted to look at. I'm probably gonna have to swing around. So boom, there we go. It's right here. We're going to go over both hardware pieces. So Ludwig 400 series boom straight stand. Love the Ludwig stuff, though. I'm eventually planning on going to a Tama Stagemaster, and then on the other cymbal is the Ludwig 400 series straight stand. So basically I got a straight stand, the boom, I got the hi-hat and the pedal as part of a bundle, and the snare stand, which was a hardware pack, which decently priced to get what you need to help you get on the way. And of course I kind of added extra cymbal stand because I can't just play with one crash. If you're going to play any drum set, to me, you'd have two. Dynamics, at least, is a thing. So, back over here is the Zildjian ZBT 18-inch crash ride. This was my one issue with Guitar Center, was I said crash when it was used, and it was an 18-inch crash. They gave me the crash ride, and the sticker even said crash, so this was mislabeled. Not gonna hold anything against it. It's a used cymbal and it was fairly priced. Sounds okay, and that's what I needed to. And then my last cymbal is the Zildjian ZBT 20-inch ride. Was the first cymbal that actually arrived. It's decent, and I have my ride at that angle because that's kind of how I played my ride cymbals. Is I like them kind of at that angle. I kind of stole that from Jay Weinberg, who drums for Slipknot, was originally drumming for other bands. More notably, kind of like he's drummed with Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band, which his father was drumming with. But kind of stole this during the .5 grade chapter era of Slipknot that Jay was part of. Was he had the ride at that angle, and it makes hitting the bell and kind of hitting the ride a bit easier, and I don't get much wash out of that cymbal playing it like that. So that's it. That's the update of my drum set. Not much has changed, except gone to the single tom, updated the resonant heads, upgraded the snare stand, and a new boom stand to really help things work out. So, it's been Zad Drums. This has been an update video. Catch you all later.